Talk us through what you think. I mean, especially on the retail sales, what is that telling us at a time when everybody is sort of looking at the Chinese consumer now to really boost some of that demand to absorb some of the capacity?
Yeah, so we were really hoping for the retail sales numbers to be a bit stronger. You're right, there are some very favorable base effects. But, we did come off a very strong Q1 where we have a very extended spending streak because of the extended holidays. Of course, in May, which isn't accounted for this April data, we do have a very good, strong labor market spending data as well. So we could kind of see April as a little bit of a blip. I wouldn't be too concerned about that because I think the sentiment, the consumer confidence is quite weak, but we do see some signs that it's stabilized and bottomed out. So I think going forward, we should see a mild improvement in that. It'd be quite interesting to see where the savings data is in about a couple of months to see if consumer is actually willing to draw down on that. But you're right. Ultimately, I think that the problem with the economy is that there is a lack of demand, and the solution seems to be an oversupply.
Yeah, I mean, is this arguably a little bit backwards looking now that we've had the May holiday numbers showing that overall spending was pretty good? Because within that data, it still showed a fairly concerning trend in that the consumer spending per head is still softer than 2019 levels.
Yeah, I think that's probably more of a structural trend now, right? I mean, we've had we're almost the second year, almost halfway through the second year of the reopening. You would expect that the recovery of the economy would be more even. You would expect the consumer to really stabilize. That really hasn't been the case. So what we are seeing now in terms of, the lower spending per head, in terms of the kind of weak overall intrinsic discretionary spending power, I think that's likely to be a more structural trend, and that should persist. And the sooner the authorities accept that, the sooner we're able to get policies that actually meet the needs of the economy.
I find it really fascinating that there's so much discrepancy between where the projections stand, right, versus where the actual data comes in. Right, and even in the data that comes in, it's fascinating to see that there are different components which are doing differently, which are performing differently. So, for example, we spoke about automobiles, EVs. Those sales have accelerated, right? We had about 2.41 million automobiles produced in the month of April. 2.36 million was sold, which is significant, which essentially means that 12.8% were produced and 9.3% was sold. Isn't that encouraging data that, spending decisions are changing and there is obviously some bit of discretion being exercised in where to spend and how to spend?
Yeah, I think the Chinese consumer is definitely becoming smarter, right? They're not really spending in bulk, they're spending more selectively. But the concerning trend about EVs and automobile sales, however robust they are, is that these are pretty one-off purchases, right? So you spend it today, you won't be spending for another 2 years. So it really is
less.
Exactly. So the recurrent retail sales trend, if we can't really extrapolate a lot of that from very robust automobile sales. Same thing goes for, some of these other high-ticketed discretionary items. So if you think about home appliances, how much they spend on electronics, those haven't really been as consistent as we like, which kind of suggests that maybe that one-off demand has tapered off last year. And now we're just seeing, the consumer buying pretty selective items. And when that tapers off, then what happens?